Everyone, my name's Kendy. I'm also a Seattle Promise Retention Specialist. I'm over at the South Campus, so if there's any um, outgoing, like graduating 2020 seniors from Seattle Public High Schools going to South, I'll be working with you there. And go ahead, Mia.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. My name is Mia. I use she, her pronouns. I'm also with the Seattle Promise team as a retention specialist, but I am at North. So if you applied to be in Seattle Promise and you're coming to North next year, I will see you there.
Perfect. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? All right, so what is a transfer degree? So pretty much you start with us and there's a couple pathways that you could go. Gina mentioned it in the original or the main session. The professional technical degrees are usually the ones that are designed that you earn that degree or certificate, and is designed to lead you right into a career or work to get a job. Okay. The other pathway is the transfer degree. So you're coming in saying, hopefully I'll earn my 90 credits here at the respective Seattle College. I want to take care of my basic requirements. And then I have the goal of applying to a college and transferring to a 4-year university. Okay. The slide says there's paths to graduation. So the first one I want to talk about is the professional technical degrees. It shows here that 90 credits are generally the amount of credits that you'll need to earn with one of those professional technical degrees. However, there are certain technical degrees or programs that exceed that 90 credit limit. So you will always check into that program and see exactly how many credits are required for that specific program. And then for the transfer degree or the AADTA, it's a 90 credit degree that you'll earn in an associate's degree, and then you can transfer to a 4-year college or university with the hopes of graduating and earning your bachelor's degree. Any questions? Nope, sweet. All right, so what is an Associates of Art or an Associates of Art, a DTA, or direct transfer agreement? It is built in, so that DTA stands for Direct Transfer Agreement. That means that all the colleges and universities in the state of Washington have agreed to recognize the credits that you have earned and the associates that you have earned at one of the respective Seattle colleges will transfer over to that university, and you will start there as a junior. Those 90 credits are broken down into 3 sections, which are essentially your basic requirements, so English and math, your distribution requirements, which are natural worlds or sciences, ICSs or social sciences and humanities, and then lastly, VLPAs or arts. Where are these degrees offered? All 3 colleges.
All right, I'm going to walk us through this degree worksheet. When I presented on this the last session, I realized I don't know if this is actually the same at Central and South for the AA. So Kendy and Jamar, you can confirm or deny if this is indeed the same degree worksheet. But this is what ours looks like at North. And again, it's the Associates of Arts degree. It's 90 credits. And there's a few different sections that I want to show y'all just to break it down a little bit more. This degree worksheet has a lot of info. Yes, question.
Sorry, just real quick. Is there any way to enlarge that a little? I know you're.
Oh yeah, Kendy, could you zoom?
You can make it just a little bit bigger. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, and it is the same for South. I can also probably pull it up.
I'm trying to figure it out too.
Let me see.
There you go.
I don't know. I don't even know how to make this enlarge. I think we can send you a copy. If we find it, we can put it in the chat for you.
Yeah, one sec. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, we can probably just follow along as you go, but I just thought if there was a way to make it a little. Thanks.
I'm going to take over the screen share.
Thank you.
Okay, can folks see this? Are we good? Are we zoomed in? All right, word. So this is the degree worksheet. We use this a lot with students. Students also use these degree worksheets to kind of keep track of where their credits are at, see what they still need. You know, if a student was a Running Start student, they might already have some college credits at the Seattle colleges. And there are 6 sections that I want to go through. The first one is the basic requirements. This is 15 credits. You're going to need to take English 101. You're going to need to take English 102. And then this QSR, this stands for quantitative symbolic reasoning, which is really just math. It just means math. It's going to need to be 100 level or up. So if you're starting out as a new student at one of the Seattle colleges and you're taking algebra, algebra is not a 100 level math class, and you're going to need to work up to that 100 level. Most students for the AA, they take a class called Math 107. That's math and society, but you could also take, you know, pre-calculus, statistics. There's some business math classes offered, but you are going to need to take those math class, or one math class for sure. Sometimes that can be really challenging for students, so keep that in mind with this degree. The next section, so section 2, Jamar mentioned this just a few moments ago. That's the VLPA classes, the visual, literary, and performing arts. This is also 15 credits. Usually classes are 5 credits. Sometimes a class could be 2 credits or 3 credits, even 1 credit, but usually it's 5 credits. So you can think about this of like 15 credits, 3 classes. In this section, these are often like world language classes, studio art classes, English classes. There is a restriction in this section. Only 1 world language can fit up in here, but if you need to take more, they can just go down in your elective section. Same with a studio art class. Only 1 studio art class can go up in here, but any more can go down in the electives. You're also going to need to take 2 different subjects. So you cannot take all English classes. You got to mix it up at least a little bit and take at least 2 different subjects for the VLPAs. The third section, which Jamar mentioned a little bit too, that's the ICS, the Individuals, Cultures, and Society. Same thing, 15 credits, 2 different subjects, mix it up, take a few different classes. Classes that fit in this category could be like psychology, sociology, anthropology, history classes, more of your like social sciences classes. And there's a lot of other examples that I did not mention that fit in here. The 4th category is the natural world. So again, 15 credits, mix it up, 2 different subjects. You do need to take a lab class. So depending on what your relationship with science was like in K-12 or what kind of foundational education you received, there are lab classes that are more traditional. So like biology, chemistry, physics, those are more challenging lab classes. But there's also lab classes that are a little less rigorous, a little less science intensive. So that could be, you know, like at North at least, we have a natural disasters class that counts as a lab, some geology classes, as well as like environmental science classes. Those tend to be there's still a science class for sure, like you're gonna learn some science, but it's a little less intensive than the other ones. And then, you know, you have to take the lab and you have to take 2 more. So one of these, if you like math, it could be another math class. If you're like, ooh, math and science are a real struggle for me, there's other classes that meet the natural world requirement. There's like nutrition classes or health and human sexuality that are, again, it's like still science, but not as rigorous or science heavy or more like traditional science. The 5th section is the elective credits. So this is 30 credits. This can be essentially any class. And it's, you know, 30 credits, maybe it's 6 5-credit classes. If you have some 2-credit or 3-credit classes, which could be, you know, like physical fitness classes. We also have some classes that our counselors offer that are called human development courses, so like orientation to college success, or like thinking about career planning or personal growth and really identifying your values or thinking about what you might want to major in. That's a 2-credit class. So you just want to make sure that everything kind of rounds out to 90 so that you can get your degree. And I know I'm giving you so much information, but the 6th section is up here, this special requirements section. 3 of these are not a separate class. So communications, global studies, US cultures, these are boxes you're going to check off if you take a class. So for example, Humanities 105, this class counts for both the communications requirement, and the US cultures requirement. A history class might count for the global studies requirement, and they're also going to fit over here, right? So you got history checking off like one of your ICS classes and your global studies. Same thing with the humanities. The integrated studies, this is a separate requirement. And again, I don't remember if this is a requirement at South and Central. So Jamar and Kendy, put in the chat or clarify or interrupt me. But this is a 10 credit class. So 2 different teachers come together. They create a 10 credit class. Could be like an English teacher and a psychology teacher. They teach a class on a theme. It's like a very deep dive into a subject. So you're going to want to make sure you're interested in that class because it is a lot of work. But it's also great because you get to do a much more in-depth look at a different topic from a few different perspectives. And a lot of times English 102 is included in integrated studies. So you always get like 3 to 4 options. One of those is always going to be English 102. So similarly, right, to how like the history and the humanities check off different boxes, maybe your integrated studies class checks off your English class and also maybe like a psychology class. So that's kind of the basic breakdown. And again, I know it's a lot of information, but that's the basic breakdown of the AA. That's this degree worksheet. If you just want to get your AA, that's great. Like that is a college degree. That is a 2-year college degree. But the nice thing about this degree too is that it does set you up to transfer. You are going to have 90 college credits and those are going to transfer. So even if you don't know what you want to major in right now and you're just kind of taking classes to explore and see what you're interested in, like you're going to have classes that transfer. That's going to be a really helpful foundation for you. So that's one thing. The other thing I would say is you can use this degree and be really strategic and really smart. If you're like, I know I want to major in psychology at Western, you can look up Western's requirements and you can say, what does Western require? What psychology what psychology classes does Western require? And you can start plugging those into your schedule so you have them ahead of time. So not only do you have like the admissions requirements, not only do you have your general education requirements, a lot of these are going to count as general education requirements. You also might even be able to work on some of your major requirements for your bachelor's degree at that college. So there's a lot you can do with this degree, and it's always great to connect with your advisor. Jamar, Kendy, and I, we all work for the Seattle Promise program with students, but we also have general advisors at all of our colleges who y'all can work with as well. So I will stop sharing and let you reshare, Kendy. Are there any questions about that degree worksheet and that degree breakdown? I know there's a lot in there. Yes. Yes, please ask. You are on.
There we go. I'm looking for, where's my unmute?
Yes.
So I'm Janae Simone and careers in education teacher at Franklin High School. So I'm regularly pointing my students towards Seattle colleges, Seattle Promise and all. I believe I have a student who's excited to be coming to North.
Awesome.
Anyway, my question is this, just to sort out the time frame. If I were a student and I had just heard KO talk about the Academy for Rising Educators and that it's an evening program, now I'm wondering, like, how did they fit all that in an evening program? Or are they doing their AA classes during the day and then they have ARE at night? I don't know if you know, but for you, if I'm taking 15 credits, so if a class is 5 credits in the old days, that meant Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'm curious about how's the scheduling for a class, let's say that's 5 credits. Is it all over the map, like a Tuesday, a Thursday? Mm-hmm. What would a day in a life of a student doing an AA look like? Kind of traditional about it.
Yeah, it's a great question. Jamar can definitely speak more to the ARE program because he's at Central, but in college, it's like your schedule is going to be really different than it is in high school. So you're not going to have class every day, all day, which is great. You know, you have a lot more choice. You have a lot more like flexibility with your schedule. So it totally depends on the types of classes you take. It totally depends on what's being offered in the quarter. Some students will have class every day. Like a lot of math classes, they do meet every day, but some students, you know, they might have class just on Tuesdays and Thursdays or just on Mondays and Wednesdays. And it really depends on the teacher and and kind of what's being offered. And
What's
now
being
that we've
offered.
been remote, you know, a lot of classes are asynchronous. So a lot of them are just completely online, and that
Yeah.
option will remain available. There were classes online even before we went fully remote. So some students can be more self-directed in their learning too, where their class is mostly on Canvas. They don't have to show up to class. It's on Canvas. They don't have to show up to a Zoom, right? Like the lectures are there, the materials are there, and they can kind of work through it that way. Does that answer your question?
It does. And one last question are there evening classes?
Yeah, there are sometimes evening classes. I know at North, in our early childhood education department, students can receive their Associates of Applied Science, so their AAS, and a lot of those ECE and education classes are in the evenings. And one thing too with the AA that I didn't mention, like in that elective section, sometimes there's certificates that can fit. So at least with the AA and ECE, there's like one early childhood education certificate that's, 12 credits that can fit in the elective category. Same with like your EMT certificate, that's 13 credits that can fit in the elective category, but you can only have 15 credits in the electives of those kind of like certificate kind of type programs, or also like restricted electives that are not already existing within the given categories.
Great, thank you. Yeah, that helps a lot.
Yep, right on. Jamar, is this me? And Kendy?
Yes,
I think it is.
yes, it is.
Okay, cool. So this is a little bit of a transfer timeline. And, I was talking earlier about how you can be really strategic and smart about planning out your classes if you know exactly where you want to go. But this gives a good outline of like, when you're taking 0 to 18 credits, that's kind of in your first 1 or 2 quarters. That's where you can start to really explore different majors. You should create an education plan. That's kind of like a map of your entire time for your degree, all the credits you need. It makes registration a lot easier. It gives you as a student a lot more information, just knowing like, okay, I already have these classes, I need these additional classes. So that's kind of that first 0 to 18 credits. Once you've taken 19 to 44 credits, it is a good idea to start meeting with four-year college advisors. And I'm new to this role. I've only really worked in Seattle public schools and other high school settings before. And so I didn't realize you can just kind of like call up admissions counselors and say, hey, I'm a transfer student. Like, here's my credits. Like, let's talk about what's available to me. So you can meet with admissions advisors. You can meet with department advisors. You are a transfer student. Like, you're different than if you just are coming straight out of high school. Like, you're taking college credits, you're in college, but you're a transfer student, and you're going to apply to college, to a 4-year college or university as a transfer student. And it's also a good idea always to understand the admissions requirements, because different schools have different requirements, and different schools, even the same major, those all have different requirements. So that's a good time to start planning kind of your transfer ideas. And then the 45 to 74 credits, working on updating your ed plan, working on starting college applications. There's a lot of great resources at the colleges for working on your personal statements and getting feedback, and just learning how to make those connections, like how to send an email to folks at the college you might be applying to, applying for scholarships, getting your financial aid in, right? All those things. And then that last bit, like when you are really close to completing the degree in the 75 to 90 credits, you need to apply for graduation. It's very important. Got to get y'all your diploma. Like, do not forget to apply for graduation for your degree, and send your transcripts over to the university. So yeah, and if you're not on this timeline, that's okay. It's like your own timeline. It's your education. It's your own timeline. Whenever you finish the degree, whenever you decide to transfer, that's fine. If you don't want to transfer the year after you finish, like, that's cool. You have the credits. So I will pass it to Kendy.
All right. Thank you, Mia. And where can I transfer is the question on the slide. You can practically transfer anywhere. And just to make sure you note that when you're completing a transfer degree, it doesn't guarantee admissions to all the colleges or universities, and you are still required to apply to the schools that you choose. It's very important, like Mia has stated in the other slide, that you're working closely with your Seattle College's advisor, just so that we know you're taking classes specifically for your program, or is it fitting within the transfer degree itself, just so that you're strategically planning out what classes are you're going to prioritize for your program. And how do you make things easier? Honestly, like the other slide has said, be in contact with admissions advisors at the universities and colleges, knowing what program you want to transfer to. That really helps with planning and prioritizing what classes to get the prerequisites out of the way for admissions to a specific program or university. And then as soon as you know that you're ready to transfer, letting your advisor know that, hey, I'm ready and I really want to start getting to know what schools and programs are there for me. And that's where we're here to help you. So like an advisor, retention specialist is here to help you start up that search and really dive deeper into what programs really fit you and make sure that you're taking the right classes that fit into the admissions requirements for those programs. Okay. And we have like a Q&A section here. If you have any important questions, we have one thing to note is about education plan. That's basically us breaking down per quarter what classes each quarter for example, a student wants to go in education, we'll break down each quarter what classes they need to take. And if it fits within like the admissions requirements for that program, we'll make sure that those classes are planned within each quarter for the student. And I think we could stop recording from here.